It's nice of you to have us here in the interview. Talk about you being the only Filipino American in a mainstream children's show in Hollywood.
You know, I am so blessed and I'm so excited to go to work every day. I love my job. I love the people that I'm working with. And no matter where we're in our second season is airing, we're filming our third season, and I still can't believe that I get to do this for a living. I never saw myself on television. I never saw myself reflected in a way that I related to, and where I could be silly and vulnerable and ask for help. And I get to do all of these things in this show and help kids now all over the world, now that we're airing in the Philippines and Brazil and Australia, not just the States. And so I'm so happy, I'm ecstatic, and I still can't believe it. It's weird.
And you're going to have a Lola in the next season, talk about having Caroline Faye and working with her.
She's amazing. She is so funny. She is so talented. She's an incredible musician and an incredible actor. When we first met, we got along so well instantly. And you know, the fact that I get to be a Filipino American in this role on this kind of show, and the fact that we get a Lola and that Carolyn is our Lola and introduces the entire world outside of the Philippines to that Lola is grandma, and that Manong is love and respect, and that Babinka is just pure joy, is so incredible. It's incredible that we get to celebrate who we are on such a stage, and in doing so, you know, connect us all together. That just because we say things differently doesn't mean that we're all that different, that we all are related, and that we're all connected.
Mm-hmm. And you've been doing also theater a lot. And so do you miss doing theater?
I do. I miss theater so much. You know, there's nothing like doing a show live in front of an audience and feeding off of their energy and feeding off of the energy of the cast. And it's the same show technically every night, but it's never the same show every night. There's always something different that's going to happen. And so I definitely miss it. And I hope to return one day soon. I've been working on a few projects. And I hope that once we're over COVID, they'll pick back up and that we'll return to Broadway or return to somewhere in between shooting Blue's Clues.
And do you think this is a time where all Filipinos are being highlighted in Hollywood? We have like John Briones in Ratched, Isa Briones on Star Trek, and you have Nico Santos and Jacob Batalon as well. Talk about that.
You know, it's an amazing time to be alive. We have a lot of leading men and women and Philippine-X performers and actors that are being celebrated for who they are, not just for the color of their skin or just because they're Filipino. Like they get to embody a character for once, and they get to embody a character that isn't a caricature or a joke, the butt of a joke, or a villain or a foreigner. In many cases, they get to be, in my case, I get to be Filipino American. And those two words are never really spoken in the same sentence. And like when I was growing up, you're either Filipino or you're all American, and all American doesn't look like me. So, you know, it's incredible. It's an incredible time to be alive. And I hope that kids growing up right now and seeing the things that they see on television, whether they're Filipino or not, they know that anything is possible and that the future is just beginning. So, you know, get in there, work hard, be kind to each other, and continue to love what you do.
Mm-hmm. I know you were born in Dubai, but how Filipino are you? Do you cook Filipino food? Do you speak Tagalog? Talk about
You know, okay, so I'm gonna say this. I speak a little bit of Tagalog. I always understand when I'm getting yelled at, but I'm currently learning Tagalog because I want to talk to my lolo fluently while he's still around. So that's kind of been my side project that I've been working on. I know I have cooked Filipino food in the past. I've cooked adobo, pancit, biko. Biko is one of my favorite things ever. So in our show, we cook babinka, but in my family, we cook biko. And so I remember Lola making biko and showing my mom her Biko recipe, and then my mom showing me her Biko recipe. So that's something that is, you know, that the fact that we share a recipe on our show means so much to me because I can relate to that. So Filipino food is something that I love, something that we cook. My wife and I have made vegan versions of it. So this is why I say that, like, I'm maybe a little bit less Filipino than I was maybe 4 years ago, because we've been vegan for 4 years. I remember when I told my mom, I was like, hey mom, you know, she's like, do you want to eat? It's like, oh, you know, Amanda and I are actually vegan now. She's like, why? And, you know, we've done it for multitudes of reasons, but we are making vegan Filipino food, and there are, you know, more restaurants that are Filipino and vegan. And so, you know, it's only going to get better and better for vegan Filipinos. We'll be able to call ourselves Filipino once again.
Have you been to the Philippines lately?
Not lately. I haven't been to the Philippines in over 10 years now. I went when I was in high school, right before my older sister was going into college. They wanted us, because that was one of the last times we would all be together. And so I haven't been to the Philippines since then. I was supposed to be there, Amanda and I were supposed to be there in July, but then unfortunately the pandemic kind of let loose and scrapped those plans. But I plan to be there as soon as we're on the other side of this, and as soon as we're all healed as a world, to be able to go back and show Amanda everything that I'm so proud of and everything that has made me who I am today.
Mm-hmm. Talk about your parents as well. Have they encouraged you to become an actor, or anybody in the family, your two sisters also in acting?
You know, it's so funny because I think my mom didn't realize what she was doing when she was talking to me. So I still watch a lot of TV, but I used to watch a lot of TV growing up. And she used to say, Josh, you watch so much TV, why don't you just be an actor? And I remember saying, like, I'm not going to be an actor, Mom, I'm going to be a lawyer. And here we are today. I hope to play a lawyer on TV or in a movie one day so that it can kind of come full circle. But so outside of that, no, you know, my sisters were the dancers and they were the performers. And I didn't come into performing until later on in my life. And when I did, my sisters were always the ones to give me notes and give me criticisms and help me improve. And so I remember I got a scholarship to go study musical theater at a conservatory in New Jersey at Paper Mill Playhouse, an incredible regional theater there. Their education and outreach is amazing. The shows that they put on are amazing. They make theater accessible. And so I got a scholarship to study there, and that was when I realized that's what I wanted to do for a living. And my parents, they were so scared, but they were incredibly supportive, and my teachers were incredibly supportive. And when we did the show, I remember my parents were just so happy. There was a show at the end of the conservatory, and they were just blown away. And even my sisters, they gave me a couple notes, but I remember them smiling and being like, you know, good job. And that meant so much to me. So while I am the first actor in the family, I'm definitely not the first performer. That goes to my parents because they love singing, and then to my sisters because they taught me how to become a better performer when they would watch me, and they've always been supportive. And so, you know, I'll never forget that.
I know you're into healthy living and healthy practices, practicing Jujutsu, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So talk about how does it help you in your career as an actor?
You know, it's so funny because martial arts is something that has always kind of been in my life. I studied karate when I was younger, and then I studied taekwondo when I was a little bit older. And then when I got into theater, I didn't really have time. And then once I was in Aladdin on Broadway for long enough, I wanted to go back into martial arts, but I really wasn't allowed. So it was kind of under the table that this was happening. I didn't tell anybody really that I was doing jiu-jitsu. And what I found was that it was an incredible mental and physical practice where it taught you that you can't just muscle everything, and you can't just, you have to be patient, you have to breathe, you have to be present, and you have to use the tools that you have. You can't overexert yourself blindly. And I think Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is one of those martial arts that's incredibly helpful. If we ever have kids, I want all of my kids to do it. I think the Philippines is one of the countries that would produce some of the best Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioners in the world. I have no doubt in my mind. And I hope that Jiu-Jitsu, if I can be a part of bringing Jiu-Jitsu to the Philippines, that would be such an honor for me. But yeah, if you're able to take Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I highly recommend it.
So are you still pinching yourself that all these things are happening to you? So what would you advise your younger self now?
Oh my gosh, yes, I'm always pinching myself. I don't believe that this is happening. Every day I wake up and am so grateful, and I'm also in disbelief that it's still happening. If I were to tell my younger self, to give my younger self advice, it would probably to be patient. It would be to, don't be afraid of the hard work. I think I'm very easily overwhelmed, and Jiu-Jitsu and my wife and my family, my faith and the people around me has helped me realize, take it a step at a time. Just like we say in the show, take it one step at a time, and nothing is impossible if you do that. I would tell myself, it's okay to be afraid. It's okay to be scared. It's just going to take hard work, and you can do that. So, don't be afraid. It's okay. I think that's what I would tell myself, and, just see what happens.
And so you have a dog in the show, but do you have a real dog in real life?
We do have a real dog. We have our dog. His name is Ollie. He is the pride and joy of Amanda and I's life.
What kind of dog?
He is a tiny little a Maltipoo. He's a Maltese mini poodle. And fun fact, in season 2, he is on set with me virtually every day. So if you're watching a season 2 show, he is just off camera or hiding somewhere in the set. So he's always there. He gets his daily dose of bacon from the crew, behind my back, of course. And he is, we're so lucky to have him, and he's our mascot for the show.
Thank you very much, Joss.
Thank you so much. Thank you. This has been a joy. Thank you.
Thank you very much.